back to Christina's Garage, Gearhead in Training. On Saturday, I went over to Rex Hutchison's Racing Engines, and Michael allowed me to shadow him for 5 hours. I have these out because this is what he showed me how to machine and do other things, and I wanted to share as much information that I could. When I was over there on Saturday, I was more focused on learning, being hands-on, and it was difficult to manage the camera at the same time. I still wanted to share some of the information that I learned. I am so new, though, that a lot of the vocabulary has kind of gone over my head. It's going to take me a while of repetition. I'm probably going to go to him and write notes for everything to actually sink in. I do want to review everything, not only for myself, I do want to share it as well, and maybe the less technical explanation might help another newbie at least get a general idea of what we did. This is the crankshaft that goes in the engine, and he had one sitting out when I got to the shop. He said you can tell what engine it came from because it has a printed number on it. It might be just because of what side it's on. I currently can't locate the number that's on this one. There was a number on the one that he had on the table, and he showed me the reference book, which gives you all the information that you can reference the sizing and everything to like stock or what it would originally have been. And for example, he was taking a blueprint of this crankshaft, not this one, there was one at his shop, this is just as an example. And he was taking measurements of these parts here because this attaches onto here, the ones that are offset, the ones in the center. So this one, this one, this one, and this one, the ones that are completely in line, that sits in the engine block. And then the parts that are offset, that's where this is the connecting rod here, this is the cap up here, and this is the piston. So this attaches to the parts that are offset, and you have 2 of these per section. So you get 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, because mine is a V8. The one in the shop was also a V8. In order to get the blueprint, he was taking measurements across the diameter, not circumference, the diameter of each one of these, and he referenced it to a book that he had that matched the number on the crankshaft to make sure he's measuring appropriately. And then after that, he had taken this apart already, so there's a piece that goes through this hole that attaches the connecting rod to the piston, right? This is the piston, I think. Now I'm all second guessing myself. This is the part of learning that I ask questions a lot, and you know what, I'm just gonna put it out there anyway because I'm learning, and you don't have to be perfect. And, you know, I'm open to constructive help, not being super critical and mean. You know, everybody starts somewhere. So there's a piece that goes through here that connects the connecting rod to the piston. And then he had taken that apart and then removed these. We removed these together. He used some other equipment to be able to more easily remove it. And you can't actually see from that far away that there's a line that goes across here because this cap is a separate piece than the bottom. So we had removed this top piece here from the bottom piece, and then we started off by cleaning it. So he had the connecting rods, this part, and the cap. He put it in this tray, and there was a machine where it looked almost like a giant dishwasher from like a restaurant or something. He put it in there, and it was industrial, like, you know, it didn't look like one you got out of a restaurant. It had a similar idea though. So he put it all on the tray, put it in there, washed it. We came back out, grabbed that, and then we went to it's like a lot of you have probably seen sand blowers where it uses pressure with sand to clean stuff off. This machine actually used small granules of glass. So it looked kind of like I was in outer space. It was this giant container that I put my hands in, and there were gloves. so that it would keep the glass contained in this big box. And I was using the glass blower, I'm not sure if that's actually the proper name, but I was using the hose to clean off the connecting rods and the caps to make sure that all of the residual anything was cleaned off. After I did that, we went over to this other machine, which was really cool. You put a fluid on it that had like a magnetizing material in it. You put it in a magnet, which magnetizes it, and you use a black light to see if there's any cracks. And if there were going to be any cracks, it would be like a bright yellow line where the cracks would be. It did gather a little bit on the edges. He said that you could tell, though, if it's actually a crack, because you don't want to put these back in the engine if they're damaged. He said that it takes a lot for them to actually be damaged. Still, you want to make sure you check it. So he looked under each one while it was magnetized to see if there was any yellow lines and being indicative of any kind of cracks or damage. After that, we demagnetized it, then went over to start machining. The client had gotten these pins that go through here. They were brand new. So Michael wanted to make sure that these holes for the pistons, and I think that the pistons might have been new too. They looked pretty new. Either way, he wanted to make sure that every part of it actually meshed well together and it fit well. So did some referencing to the book to check the sizing. And there was a lot of measurement technical stuff involved. And then we machined these holes on a machine. Obviously, this was all taken apart. It was just this part. And actually, he had me holding it like this. And we were machining the holes here and matching it to make sure that it would fit this pin in the center so that it can actually move freely without it being too loose or too tight. And then after that, we took the caps and the connecting rods and machined this bottom part here on both sides we did a little bit of a bevel, which it doesn't look like this has it. The edges here, put a little bit of an angle to prevent from the gasket, or there's gonna be rings in here that is in between that it doesn't catch on anything. So we machined a little bit of that, and then I actually took a video of me machining like a grinder. It was a grinder that I took the cap, put it in the machine, and with my right hand, I kind of ground down this by very minute, and it actually had an angle on it to help these to be able to come together. After that we did that, connected these again, and then separately machined this. So it was sitting like this. No. Anyway, we machined this hole so that it was uniform, because when we put this together after machining this part, the sides weren't all even. This distance here was shorter than this distance. So with machining it while it's all together, then it's all like it would be well rounded and there's no weird edges or anything like that. And he said it was really important to number the cap and the connecting rod to make sure that when they're separated, that when you put them back together, they're the same number, because when you're machining it, you're machining them together. And if you try to mix and match after that, it might potentially cause some issues there. And you want to try to keep all of these together, because when you machine one part, and we machined, I believe, the bottom hole on this side too. Yeah, the connecting rod, the hole that connects through this rod here. So there was a lot of machining going on. There was a ton that he did after I left. Hopefully that made some sort of sense. There was a lot of information that it would have been great to have him sharing on camera. He would make a great instructor. Hopefully later down the road, if you guys like this content, if you want to see more in the shop, put it in the comments and we'll see if we can swing that. I might need to get some help to have someone actually film, because he's going to be teaching and I'm going to be, actually being hands-on and trying to be present. So yeah, let me know if that's something you guys want to see more of. If you want to follow along with this journey, please subscribe to my channel. I also have an email list, and I have Instagram, and there's plenty of ways you guys can connect with me. And I'm going to be traveling around. If for some reason I'm going to an area for a car show and you're nearby, I would absolutely love to meet up. I really like to meet new people and learn new things. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.